In a world filled with sniveling snowflakes, where timeouts and safe places are abundant, where there's 37 genders to scroll through on a job application. Not that they have jobs. We're proud to be your salvation and your beacon to unabashed, in-your-face talk. This is Stars, Bars, and Cigars, the no-holds-barred conservative talk show hosted by battle-tested vets. Lock and load and get ready for an explosive journey through breaking news, the rich tapestry of constitutional history, and the pulse-pounding realities of Army and Navy life. Oh, and yeah, cigars. Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And now your hosts, Jimmy the Bull and Tig Tigger.
Hey, Patriots and Snowflakes. Tig, how are ya?
Doing fine. A couple of little roadblocks in the way, but hey, I'm down to about a week left before I am newly married.
Yeah, one week of freedom left, huh?
And I missed your birthday last Sunday's show.
Oh,
and that was
bad.
I apologize for that. That was terrible on my behalf. You know, the thing is though, is I didn't even see where your birthday was, and I got so much shit going on. I can't even know which way's up. I can't even remember my own birthday half the time.
Yeah, it's all right, buddy. That's all right. That's all right.
But anyway.
So, tonight, lies, yeah.
Oh, the 80s song.
You caught it, huh?
Yeah.
Not right away, though.
Well, you know, we've been lied to about everything almost all of our lives, or the people that have taught us the lies, they believed in their heart the lies themselves because they were taught the lies, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. And that's the sad thing. You know, nobody's to fault when you just believe in your heart that these lies are true.
Hold that thought for just 1 minute.
Okay.
Let's dive into our cigars.
All right. I didn't even start.
What are you smoking, too?
This is kind of fairly new. It's a Rocky Patel Emerald. And you cannot see the beauty of the green on it because I have a green screen, and the green screen clashes with the beautiful big 4-inch green wrapper that's on it. And it is amazing green color wrapper. And then it's got white and green.
Stroke that again.
It's got white and green on the bottom. It's got the label. It says Emerald on it. The Rocky Patel logo. This is a Toro. I got a lot to say about this as I play around with it to get the wrapper off, because I'm going to light it in a few minutes here. But I'm gonna read a little bit about the Rocky Patel Emerald because it's new to me. It's fairly new, and this one's a Toro. They come in like what is it? Three sizes. A Toro, which is a 6.5 by 52 gauge. This one's a Toro. The Robusto, which is about a 5.5 by 50 gauge, and then one that's called the 60, and that's like a 6-incher with a 60 gauge, a mouthful. Yeah. And I've got the Toro. It's a box press cigar, box pressed, a little bit of a squareness to it.
Yep.
I can feel by the wrapper that it's already going to be a hell of a great wrapper. It's a lighter side to a medium-bodied cigar. It's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, dual binders, one from Nicaragua and one from Mexico. The filler is predominantly Nicaraguan, with the addition of a single leaf from, what is it called? Jamastran Valley, Honduras. So that's going to be interesting as well. It's got a nutty flavor with pepper, chocolate, small notes of coffee, or espresso coffee, I should say. And then in the latter part, I was supposed to get a gingerbread and molasses type of flavor. This cigar, the Emerald, there's a wrapper. You can't even see the top.
Nice.
This cigar by Cigar Aficionado has been given a score of 93. Not bad. Not too bad. So It's about between $11 and $12 a cigar for the Toro. I heard you've got an interesting nugget you're smoking tonight yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let you have all the fun, Tig.
This is gonna be good.
You had said you had a little stogie that
this is gonna be
resembled a tamponus.
A tampon, yeah.
Oops, I broke the string.
Oh, he broke the string. He had a longer string than me. Oh, that tampon's got a gold one on it too.
Yeah, this one's got a gold band on it. This is a El Rey del Mundo.
The gold standard of tampon cigars.
Yeah. This one here, it's a Honduran. It's an Oscuro. It's a 5x54. This one was rated by Cigar Aficionado as a best buy. Oh. So, and I left the little sticker on it. $5.99. So we're gonna see. Really? Oh, you can't see it. Just like the
green screen.
So I am going to rip the tampon apart and see what this beauty looks like underneath the hood.
Ladies, you watching this?
Oh. There it is.
He'd have a hard time being a woman, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a woman.
Can't get the damn thing open.
All right, so this has a beautiful Maduro wrapper, which is Honduran, and the binder and filler are also Honduran. So I think this one's going to be a pretty interesting
That's going to be good. Honduran has good cigars.
Yeah, and it's got a light, oily sheen to the wrapper, which I like. So I think it's going to be good. They're saying that it's got some hints of dark chocolate, coffee, sweet spice, and caramel. So it's all the things I really like.
Yeah. You're gonna have to let me know midway through here how that's smoking. Wow.
All right, so moving along here. What would you want to start at?
I listened to a radio program talk show this week, and they were chuckling. They were talking about these people that work in very tall buildings, skyscrapers, and
you were talking about this.
They climb these things, and they were talking about this 1930s picture of these guys with the lunch boxes. They're like way up on this high skyscraper.
They're pretty casually.
Yeah. And he was interviewing one of the guys that does those, and the one he's like, "Well, what's the tallest what's the highest you've been?" And the guy's like, "Oh, just under 1,000 feet." And the guy that was interviewing was like, "Oh, holy shit!" He's like, "Man, I'll tell you what. First of all, you're never gonna get me up that high. Second of all, you'd have to equip me with a bag of diapers, because he's like, I'd have to wear a diaper every single day that I was up there." Because I'd be shitting my drawers. That's freaking tall. That's high. Yeah. And these guys, some of these tower climbers, they work like 1 week out of the year and get paid enough and then some to cover them the rest of the year. Some of them, man. I'll tell you what. Some of them, they go so high up there, and then they have these jobs. They take these certain towers every day that they work on for about a week, and then the rest of the year they don't have to do a damn thing, and they're paid highly because it's such a dangerous job. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm not going up that high unless I have a parachute or a harness, man, because that's just crazy, insane.
That is crazy,
man. Like those windmills and the skyscrapers and all that, that's up there, man. That is way up there for anybody to have to work. I mean, you have to take out a hell of a life insurance policy on yourself.
Well, they might not issue a life insurance policy.
Probably not.
With that.
Oh, you better. They get paid pretty well, though.
Oh yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you. Oh wow. I was just amused at that. Talk show they were doing about the workers that work up in the skyscrapers too, man. That's crazy. How could you focus on
what the funny thing is too?
On building while you're up there that freaking high. I mean,
you know what the funny thing is? They don't have like no harnesses and nothing. They're just sitting there like they're sitting at the park, eating their food and eating their sandwiches and
they have
lunch pail sitting right next to him.
They have a picture of those guys. They're eating. They're on their lunch break. 1930s photo. They're up there in a skyscraper. It's like, man, there wasn't any labor laws back then either. I don't
Right.
think. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And you couldn't get me to do that job. I don't think so.
I'd take a pass, a hard pass on that.
I have a lot of cojones, but I think those cojones are something beyond what we can imagine. Man, that's lunacy, man. That's lunacy. But that's, I just thought on a positive type of thing, kind of an amusing little piece to talk about there to open up our program.
Absolutely.
Because now we're going to probably be a bunch of downers because we've been lied to about just about everything all our lives. So what do you want to do there, Jim, John, Bull?
Well, I was thinking, did you want to start off with the 28-year-old soldier who shot up Fort Stewart?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, I'm a little off tonight, but I'm going to get there. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. Everybody has heard about the 28-year-old Army Sergeant Cornelius Radford shoots up Fort Stewart, home of the 3rd Infantry, home of a really good unit, by the way, 3rd Infantry. They're historic, very historic in World War II, by the way, too. Audie Murphy, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and he also went on to be an actor in some war films, too. But he was a member of the 3rd Infantry. They got a great history. But anyway, like he injured 5, and like 6 of them took him down, and now he's in custody. It's kind of a case of I don't know. They could say treason, terrorism, or is it mental illness?
Yeah,
you take your pick. They haven't spoke much about it, and I'm thinking it's mental illness. I think he snapped. Because if it was something terrorism or something like that, you would think that it would have been a well planned type of thing, where it doesn't just randomly shoot at like around 5 people or so, and that's it. You'd think he would have planned something to do more damage. I just see this guy as probably just not all mentally there. Probably, as you military men would know, men and women would know, what we called a Section 8 back in the day, where someone gets a Section 8 because they're just mentally unfit to serve and they get kicked out. The U.S. military, though, they need to do more, probably better job of mental screening before they allow people in the military. I mean, we had some real mental jobs back when we were in that you're like, how'd these guys ever get through? And, while even the ones that get the mental screening, that get through and they're on the job, especially the ones that have really dangerous combat jobs, they should really do a better job of keeping tabs of them and giving them proper mental health care, having psychiatrists readily available, and not just kind of wait for signs, but maybe debrief them with psychiatrists and have them meeting with people on a regular basis that are doing the heavy combat jobs, because, I don't know, things like this can't happen.
Yeah. So that is, a big thing, with the Army. I know when we were in, it was a little different back then. There wasn't as many of these things, but I do remember specifically being on one of the ships, and when I was there during my active time, there was a guy who committed suicide while, right before we got there. So, that deal was all cleaned up. But
was that Navy?
Yeah, in the Navy. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think it's probably more prevalent in the Navy as it would be in, the other branches. But I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but
I didn't see that when I was in the Navy. Army wise, Fort Benning, we had a couple people try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So, So yeah, I mean, and I think they were pretty quickly ex-nate out. We never saw them again, so
Right.
they were gone. So that was Section 8. So but it happens. Some people slip through the cracks and they're allowed in, especially if retention's low and they're desperate to get people in the in the service, especially as recruiters when they're desperate to get their quota up and stuff. Um, they'll do whatever they can to get these certain people in, and they're just not right. And sometimes you go in there and you're looking at them and you're like, oh man, this guy's not really right, man. I don't know. Wouldn't want to get deployed with them. I mean,
Right.
I don't want them bunking next to me.
No shit, right?
So, yeah. So I remember I was at the Navy Seabees for a bit, and we had a guy who failed out of the failed out of SEAL team, Buds. This guy was a phenomenal athlete, man. He could whip up over 100 push-ups, in no time.
Right.
And he just could do everything. Run. He was excellent. He was a great athlete. He just wasn't there mentally, and I didn't think he should even be in the Navy, let alone in our CB fleet either. And I was like, dude, why you're such a great athlete? Why did you quit? Why'd you fail out of? And he didn't talk about that much. He didn't answer much about that. He's like, yeah, I wanted to join the SEALs and get paid to kill people. I think that'd be really cool. And I was just like, wow. Get paid to kill people. That would be really cool. Yeah. That's just, I mean, sure, people do go into service. They want combat. They want to kill people. But the way he said it, and the way he put it, you're not going to get on a special ops team like the SEAL team if you're like that. You got to work with your team. You gotta be able to function mentally well, and you got to have your teammates' backs. I was just like, man, this guy's just creepy, just weird. He was just weird. I mean, great shape, but to me, that's one of those guys. I think maybe he should have been screened a little bit.
Yeah, you think.
So,
Yeah. So let's move the program into a little bit more, into our segments that we wanted to talk about. 20 plus million people dead of COVID-related kill shots.
Yes, and you got monsters like Fauci and Gates and Big Pharma. These guys need to be indicted. I got some information, and I'm not going to get too in depth with it, but it turns out there's been a lot of whistleblowers that have been kind of either turning up missing, turning up dead. Remember the helicopter crashed? The Army Black Hawk that crashed months ago into the airplane. And it seemed like it was rerouted. They're wondering why would it just not move, because a helicopter, Black Hawks, those things got combat mobility, right?
Right.
Well, long story short, turns out the people on the plane were whistleblowers, COVID whistleblowers. Turns out the daughter, who was one of the pilots on that Black Hawk, she was a daughter of two big shots at Duke University. And turns out Duke University also happens to have ties with the Wuhan lab in China and ties with, certain individual groups within Israel. And it turns out that they may be the culprits behind creating what we now know was definitely a bioweapon in COVID, right?
Yeah, they don't want that shit out there.
In a bioweapon lab. And, and they wanted to bring in the vaccine because that was an addition to the bioweapon. So evidently there were some people on the plane that were major whistleblowers, and some hackers, electronic hackers, hacked that helicopter so that it could not go anywhere but fly directly into that plane. That turns out to be, there's a few sources that are saying this. And I was looking at it this week, and I was like, to you, Bull, I was like, how am I going to explain this, because there was a big write-up on it, and some of the things the guy said, he had some harsh remarks about Israel, and along with China and these people from Duke University. So I was just like, well, we're just going to chop this up. We're not going to use the language that this guy's using. But I digress. I'm going to say COVID and the vaccine, these people behind it, which is such a huge group, which is basically a cabal. That's why it's going to be so hard to ever have these guys see justice, these people.
Right, and it's all part of the depopulation scam.
Oh, it's absolutely part of the depopulation right there. And see, they knew that they were going to have to sooner or later end this COVID thing. This was just kind of an experiment of control. But they figured, well, we'll just create the vaccine, which will be just as bad, which will actually have the virus in it. And we'll push everybody to take that. And then, down the road, I was telling people when that vaccine came out, don't take that vaccine. You don't know what's in that shit. You're gonna die within 3 to 5 years after taking that. Now we're suddenly seeing people like young actors, 33-year-old actress Kelly, Mack from The Walking Dead, suddenly dying of radical cancer. Another person dying young of radical cancer, or they're dying of heart conditions that they shouldn't have, or blood clots they shouldn't have. And these monsters like Bill Gates and Fauci, they're the ones that should be indicted. If they're gonna use somebody as an example, then the Gateses of the world and the Faucis of the world, they ought to dig them out of their little underground houses and their underground cities, bring them up to the surface and indict their asses.
It'll never happen, Tig.
Their asses need to be convicted of crimes against humanity. Yeah, it's not going to happen, just like the Epstein list is never going to come to light either, because a certain international group is really strongly behind that too, that we're giving billions of dollars a year to, that are basically have our politicians in their back pockets, bunch of low-life scumbags that they are. So yeah, 20 plus million people dead from COVID shots because of them. People like Gates and Big Pharma and Fauci. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's just it's a whole different world we're in today than we ever were when we were growing up.
Yeah. So, Tig, I wanted to give a shout out to iHeart Radio Media. We got a ton of listeners come in over the past couple episodes on that platform alone.
That's cool. We got some followers too, new followers.
Yeah, we got a bunch today. In fact,
it's one thing to have new listeners on our show, and then it's another thing where they actually are following.
Right.
But that is cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And tonight we're also on YouTube, Twitch, and of course on Rumble here. Support these places because they support us. So, I was just kind of thinking about my cigar there, Tig. You see, you're touching yours up there.
I talk too much. I can't. I have to pull it out of my mouth to talk.
Right. Really. Well, I was just kind of thinking about my cigar, and boy, I'll tell you what, if you get a chance, you come across this one for $6, it's definitely worth it. It's got a lot of like dark chocolate hints in it, and I can also taste the coffee hints as I sit back and just kind of think about it a little bit.
My two favorite things in a cigar.
Yep, I think you'll really like this one here, and the Honduran tobacco is pretty nice.
I can't tell you what I'm getting for a flavor out of this yet. Maybe some nuttiness, some espresso, some strong coffee hints is what I'm getting out of it. Yeah. Some pepper. I taste a little pepper too, though.
Yeah. So moving along here, MTG.
Are we gonna bring her up right now? Okay, we'll bring her up now. I got to go through my notes, man, because I'm getting out of order.
Yeah, you kind of bounced around a little bit there and kind of got us a little off kilter here, but
wow. And you're bringing up somebody that's in my notes that's like down a couple pages, but I stand with Marjorie Taylor Greene all the way. She is America first. She's the only one. She's got the biggest balls in D.C. and she's under attack by her own party. And, ever since Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced an amendment to defend U.S. taxpayer money to Israel and other foreign countries, she's been under attack by neocons and the globalists posing as conservatives in her party. And Mark Levin, you're a shitbag. I don't care. Mark Levin, you are a sold out piece of crap. You're the one that defended giving money to Ukraine and defending Ukraine. Now you're defending Israel. Seems to me maybe you've got some special interest involved in those two countries, don't you? You're calling Marjorie Taylor a bigot, and then you tell her she should go to jail because she wants to save our tax dollars and not give more and more billions and billions and more money to Israel and Ukraine. Are you serious? People like Mark Levin need to shut the fuck up, sit down, get out of sight. Just because you're on Fox News and you have your own show, you know what, Mark? I stopped listening to you a long time ago.
Yeah, I did too.
Because you know what you are? You're a sellout globalist hack. That's what you are, posing as a conservative. I'd like to take and rip every hair out of your beard one by one, you dirtbag.
Well, not only
I
that,
stand with Marjorie Taylor.
He's just like a shit stirrer, He's got this big wooden spoon, and he's just like turning that fucking churn of shit, spouting off his fucking.
You know where his money's coming from.
Yeah.
Probably the same neocons of Bush and what's his name, Murdoch, who owned Fox. Those dickheads.
Right.
Yeah. So, I wrote a lot of stuff about this. People need to wake up to the truth that the government of Israel and Ukraine are corrupt. And Israel is part of the military industrialized complex, of course. They're literally tanking the U.S. government's money. They're tanking us. They're tanking our economy. We're giving billions to them a year. Half their people in Israel are living free everything off of the American tax dollar's dime, while the American tax dollar has to work to make ends meet. Okay, yeah. Tell me that's fair. Tell me that's right. So who's paying off the U.S. government. In some cases I've heard where Israel is actually a part of the United States, is secretly a state, is basically they're in cahoots. They're like bed buddies. You know what I'm saying? And so I wouldn't, kind of know that, we've sold out to Israel. We sold out to China. I mean, what part of America first don't people get anymore? I mean, I thought that's what we were. In fact, I'm even criticizing our president, Donald Trump, nowadays because he's defending Israel. And it's like, dude, weren't you on the platform? What's your whole campaign? America first?
America first, man.
America first, not Israel first. America first. Yeah.
Well, what I don't like is, all of a sudden Trump became fucking Jewish, It's like, what the fuck, I mean,
well, his brother-in-law is,
but,
I think, or son-in-law, whatever.
Yeah, even still, it's just fucking goofy.
Whether people on both sides want to accept it or not, they got to go down the rabbit hole. We've been lied to about Israel. Okay.
Been lied to about a lot of stuff, too.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is defending America first. Okay. She sees where there's a waste of money. She sees where Israel is killing innocent children over there. I mean, okay, I'm not defending Palestine. I'm not defending Iran. All right. But I'm not going to defend Israel anymore. Okay. There's been some special operatives that even came out and said, we will never fight for Zog again. We would never. If we were called back from the U.S. military to fight for the government, to fight over there in the Middle East somewhere, we're not doing it because we know it's for Zog. And we're not doing it. We'll fight on American soil for America against an invading army. We will defend our country, but we will never fight for Zog again. Zog being the Zionist-occupied government. Now, there's a difference between Jews and Zionists, folks. Zionists are a political radical sect of Israel, running the show secretly, along with their intelligence agency known as Mossad, which is like our CIA, which is highly corrupt. Okay, very corrupt. And let's get into Israel a little bit. Now I know, oh, you're a conservative, you're Christian. How dare you? That's what you get from people now. That's what you get from people that have believed in the narrative for so long.
Well, I think everybody was raised that way.
We've been lied. We've been lied to. And the thing is I'm trying to put this gently because I have some loved ones that just, they were raised this way too, and they've defended Israel completely, and they believe in the Judeo-Christian roots and Judaism and the Jews and stuff, and I don't want to come across as a Jew hater, because I'm not. They've never done nothing bad to me. I would not be a hater, but I'm trying to come up. I've been trying to get sources, get some truth here, okay? Get some history, get some truth here, and try to figure this out. See, the Israel that we've been taught that, oh, God's chosen people, and, you know, we need to defend them at all costs. Okay, it's not the Israel of the Bible. This Israel was created in 1948 and accepted by the UN. This has been a globalist corporate entity, and they are part of the military industrialized complex. They have started every stinking war in the Middle East and blamed it on somebody else. Okay, I'm gonna do a little spiel on this. So bear with me, folks. You have your opinion. You have a right to your opinion. Don't go beating me down, because I've done my research, and maybe some of you should probably go down the rabbit hole too. Trust me, I have always been a defender of Israel, but this year I can't do it. I'm struggling with it. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm seeing the truth behind a lot of this stuff, and I would really challenge everybody else to see the truth and to say, hey, okay, so we won't hate on Israel, but we need to stop defending Israel, and we need to save our own American dollars and put America first. Now, Israel, like I said, they were created in 48, and they got Mossad. Mossad's very corrupt, okay? Mossad they're part of the whole 9/11 thing. They're part of all these wars. They're part of the whole Iran thing, the Palestinian thing. They've created everything. They attacked one of our ships in 1967, killing several, injuring several more, and President Johnson covered the whole thing completely up. So what does that tell you right there, right? Our innocent people have been killed by Israelis, okay? God knows they're also part of Hamas playing each other against each other. Oh, now you say, why would they kill their own people disguised as terrorists? Well, because they don't care. All right. They are like our CIA. They don't care about people. They don't care about lives. It's about money, control, and power. It always has been for the military industrialized complex. It's about a new world order agenda. They would sooner depopulate. All right. Just like our government doesn't care about us either. It's called collateral damage for the agenda. Okay. When it's in a war and you kill somebody, oh, it's war. When it's based on a plan to kill somebody and somebody just happens to be in the way and they get killed, that's collateral damage. Doesn't matter. So anyway, this is not the Israel of the Bible. You've got the Jews, and you got the Zionists. And the Zionists are a political sect, and they're running the show, and they're extremists, just like we got extremist Muslims, extremist Christians. You have extremists no matter what entity you are in, religion you are in, country, political party. They all have their share of extremists, all right? You ever notice that our Democrat Party and our Republican Party, even if they cannot agree on anything, they both agree on Israel? Why is that? Or even a lot of them agree on Ukraine right now. Why is that? Because there's special interests involved in it, and the interest doesn't include the American people whatsoever, and they're getting filthy rich off of it, and they're creating wars based on lies, and they've been doing that for like the past 25 years, folks. So Moving on. So we need to realize that if you go down a rabbit hole, you will see that Israel has caused many, many problems in the world. In fact, I came up with this. This is funny because I heard this actually, and this is, this could be true. I don't know. I had it in my note. Here we go. You know what the acronym? They always talk about ISIS. Remember the terrorist group ISIS?
Yeah.
They were created, Who were they created by? Because
Obama.
yeah, and maybe a few others. You see, because no matter who you've had for president, they all put on the old Israeli beanie and go to the Wailing Wall and they shake hands with Netanyahu and yada yada yada. We all love Israel. We're all gonna kiss their ass, right? Okay, no matter what. Well, here's the thing: Israel, ISIS. Think about this. ISIS acronym: Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. That's kind of a sarcastic hint at who do you think created ISIS, folks?
No.
In fact, Hamas is blamed on Iranian, giving them money and building them up for what Obama spent billions to give to Iran. Yeah, that's true, somewhat. But you know what? I think it's a big charade. I think it's let's just kill everybody and make money off of it and create stupid wars based on lies. Folks, have you ever seen the movie called Wag the Dog? It's an older flick, several years ago. Dustin Hoffman played in it, and I think Al Pacino did too. It's based on a president needs to get polls up, popularity and stuff, and they need to also, they want to make some money off it too. And anyway, they get this Hollywood director, and he comes in and they create on film a war, and they say, oh, we got to get involved in it. We got to get in this war now, and they get us involved in a war based on lies and based on video footage. Well, that's what goes on all the time between Israel, the United States, and all that. Okay. 911 Muslims did not do 911. Okay. It was part of two intelligence agencies that I've mentioned several times before in order to get us in a long, never-ending war on terror against everybody in the Middle East, everybody, and pit everybody against everybody. And guess who got to take the brunt of it is our own U.S. troops, right, based on lies. We weren't over there to defend our country and our freedom. Nobody threatened our freedom. If anybody threatens our freedom right now, it's Israel and China, especially China, who has infiltrated our country, who's total communism. Karl Marx was Jewish too, by the way, and I'm not blaming Jews now, but I'm just saying, a lot of you got to be there. You got to be behind the scenes. You got to go down a rabbit hole to see that this is made to confuse everybody. And then the narrative is to defend them no matter what. See, they know that America was built on Christians, and they know that Christians on both sides of the party aisle would defend Israel no matter what they did. So Israel is killing a lot of people, folks. It's genocide, and it doesn't matter. You can call me a Democrat and say, "Oh, why are you going against Israel?" Because the fact is, they are. Okay, it's all about land. It's all about land. It's all about control, and it's all about the military industrialized population, and it's all about depopulation too. Israel had a hand. Their intelligence agency had a hand in COVID. Their intelligence agency has a hand in stuff like the COVID shot, because who do you think controls Big Pharma also? Because the Illuminati, the New World Order, a lot of these corporations that are involved in that are basically owned by Zionists. And I'm not talking, see, there's a difference between Jews and Zionists, but they're both from the same race. Okay, but I'm not knocking the Jewish race as much as I'm knocking the radical extremists that are the Zionist sect. And the Zionists They control the Illuminati, the entertainment industry. Guys like Weinstein and guys like Epstein and stuff like that. They control human trafficking in the world. Many of the corporations, they're behind all of the low-life, scumbag, inhumane stuff that's going on today. Okay, and I'm just giving you a lot of this stuff. I've got a whole bunch of write-ups on this stuff, what I want to say, but I don't want to sit there and look like I'm reading off my paper,
Right.
folks. I want you to open your minds, forget what you've ever been taught, question, go down the rabbit hole. Why are our politicians trying to make and create anti-Semitic laws? Why are they saying that basically if you speak out against Israel or the Jews, you are going to be arrested for anti-Semitism? Okay, because you're not. If you're just why do you not have a First Amendment right to question? Why do you have not a First Amendment right to criticize? Because if they're that strongly and they want to make it against the law, so now they're going against your constitutional right, and you got to question, why do they feel so strongly about that they're going to make it illegal to protest against Israel? Why? You got to question,
Right.
why would they make that illegal? Is there something that they got certain business involvements in that? Is there some blackmailing that's been done where they got to protect the bad guy because they themselves are the bad guy also?
Right.
So the thing is it's not anti-Semitic to question Zionism, question what Israel's doing over there, question the fact that they actually are the terrorists. They've created the terrorist groups. They've funded them, along with the United States has funded them too. All right? They're all in cahoots, folks. They're all the elitists. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about the Jewish citizens. They don't give a damn about the Palestinian citizens, the Iranian citizens. They don't give a damn about anybody but themselves.
Right.
That's why they're the elitists. That's why they're the 1% of the world right now. And they have a huge cabal, and they basically control everybody with money and their military. And that's the bottom line on that. So now we've been taught that, oh, well, we got to defend Israel no matter what because Israel is God's chosen people. Now, I'm not going to deny that it does say that they are God's chosen people. But I want to do a little religious education for some of you people out there because I know I've been taught the same thing. Kind of breaks my heart that I had to rethink things and I had to research things and take some information here and there. But if we're going to look at God's chosen people, well, that was written in the Old Testament where there's a lot of Jewish laws and the Jewish religion bases on the Old Testament. Yes, Christianity has it in their Bible too. And yes, they both go hand in hand, folks. But we were taught some things that was handed down that everybody believes in their heart. And so their feet are in the ground on this. But maybe we need to kind of reteach ourselves some things and relook at the Bible if we're going to go that route. Because we shouldn't defend a country when they're committing atrocities and genocide because they're in the Bible as the chosen people. Because this Israel right now, like I said, was created in 1948. It's not the Israel of the Bible. And it has nothing to do with the Jewish people at this point. So when they do say the Jews are the chosen one, they were the chosen one because the Messiah had not come yet. So they were chosen by God in that region to accept the Messiah. We know how that worked out. Okay. Some did accept him, became apostles and disciples, and they went on to create the early Christianity that we know of that became the Christianity we see today. But many of the Jews, Pharisees, the hierarchy did not accept Christ at all. The hierarchy, the Pharisees back then were much like the Zionists today. Okay. So what happened was when Christ, and they got mad because Christ came up and he said, when he even read from the Torah, which is our Old Testament, he said, the prophecy, the scriptures have been fulfilled in my name. Okay. So they were chosen people. They were the chosen ones by God. But once Christ came, he fulfilled that. He fulfilled that. Okay. So now the shift happens. God sets up the new covenant through Christ between God and man. many of the Jews today still have not accepted Jesus Christ. And it says in the New Testament, it says in the gospel, you got to accept Christ to get to the Father, to get to heaven. Many of the Jews have not accepted that to this day. And the Zionists, they don't even care about religion. So then, okay, are we still calling the Jews God's chosen people, and that's why we have to defend Israel? Because if we're doing that, let's be careful about that, because Christ came. We accepted Christ. The Jews did not. They're waiting for their second Messiah, for their first Messiah to come yet, because they didn't accept the first Messiah, the real Messiah. All right. And we're waiting for the second coming, except that if the Jews don't believe that the Christ came yet, they're opening up the doors for the Blue Being Project. They're opening up the doors for the Antichrist to come in first before the second coming of Christ, which is a bad deal right there. Okay, we've accepted Christ. So I'm not saying that the Jews today are not God's chosen people, but I will say this. The Gentiles who have accepted Christ, where it is written that we will get to the kingdom for those who have accepted, for those who have accepted Christ, John 3:16. I'm going to read some Bible, not passages, but a summary to tell you how the Gentiles, which is the Christians, are just as equally chosen as the Jews. So you can no longer sit there and say that they're better than us, that we have to defend them at all costs, because we don't. We don't have to hate them, but we don't have to defend Israel either. And we shouldn't. We should be America first. We should take care of our own people first and forget about wasting our billions on Israel for the bad shit that they're doing right now. So let's talk about this. The New Testament presents a strong message of equality between Jews and Gentiles in Christ, highlighting that salvation and belonging to God are based on faith in Christ, not on ethnicity, adherence to Jewish law. See what they're saying there? Here are some key passages and themes. Number one, Galatians, New Testament 3:28 says, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Or I say Yahusha. So that's one. Then you got Romans 10:12. This verse highlights that God's grace and blessings are available to everyone, not one chosen people, everyone, regardless of their ethnic background. It underscores that both Jews and Gentiles are equal before God and receive his blessings through faith in Christ. Okay, so much for the Jews being God's chosen people, because you better include the Gentiles too, because we're equally involved in this, because we believe in Christ, okay? And Christ said, you got to believe in me. You can't go to the Father but through me. So then you've got Ephesians 2:14-16. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute here, Bull. This passage emphasizes how Jesus' sacrifice, I still call him Yahusha because I think that's the proper name. Jesus was kind of an English name. They all use Jesus, but I prefer Yahusha. No big deal. But his sacrifice created unity. His sacrifice, the new covenant between God and man, created, it says, unity between Jews and Gentiles, forming one body, the church. It signifies the removal of the separation between Jews and Gentiles, leading to reconciliation with God through faith. So this is why, I don't know why the churches haven't taught this, but if they looked to the New Testament, they could fully see that this Old Testament Jewish law thing, Jews are God's chosen people, you can debunk that right now. Because when Christ came, he fulfilled that Old Testament. He fulfilled those scriptures. And then the shift became the new covenant between God and man. Christ is here. So now we don't have the Jews as the chosen people. We have the unity of the Jews. And now what is now the Christians have both equality with God. But that still doesn't mean you're going to get to the Father without believing in Christ, which is very well said, so many words, so many ways in the New Testament, which the Jews currently, Orthodox Jews, they don't accept the New Testament. They don't accept that Christ was the Messiah, the Lamb of God, the salvation, the King, you know. They don't accept that. So people, why do we keep saying, oh, we got to defend Israel by any cost, any measure, because they're the chosen ones? Sorry. Gentiles, Christians, we're equal. In fact, we're maybe one step above y'all because we do believe in Christ. We have accepted Christ and the new covenant between God and man. So that doesn't mean we should hate Jews. That doesn't mean we should hate Israel. What that does mean, especially if we're Christians, because I heard a sermon today on love, what it means is this: we need to stop defending Israel and what they are doing, and we need to take a step back and say, this is your land, this is the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, you're Eastern Europe, we're the West, we're the United States. We have a border crisis, we have an economy crisis, we have a division amongst races, politics, everything. We need to focus on American people, unifying America, focus on our economy, give more money back to the American people, and stop giving money to these corrupt nations through foreign aid, which is billions and billions a year, which is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to say, that we need to stop this. We need to stop giving foreign aid. We need to stop defending bad stuff that's going on by countries that are corrupt, and focus on our own corrupt government and focus on our own people, which need to be focused on. That's America first. That's what Trump campaigned on, and that's what needs to be done, President Donald Trump. And with that being said, we're suffering because we were supposed to have a greater economy, and I did price changes this week in my little part-time gig, and prices, especially in food products, going up. I can't tell you how many price changes I made, and they weren't deductions, folks. They were going up. Everything. Some products went up as high as 90 cents. Okay, gas prices haven't done much either in going down. Your electric bills, are they going down? Are your gas bills, your utility bills going down? Is your insurance going down? Is your grocery going down? Because where Bull and I live, they're not. They're rising. The costs, the inflation's still going up, folks. So this is my message to the Trump administration. We voted for you 3 times, and what we voted for was, we voted for to get rid of these foreigners, to get rid of these illegals, to clean up our borders, to secure them. We voted for a good economy. We voted for prices to go down, for inflation to go down. We voted for Americans, America first, to stop giving foreign aid and billions to Israel and Ukraine, because we know you politicians that are bought and paid for by Israel and Ukraine are secretly taking those tax dollars in your deals made to these countries, and you're getting it back in kickbacks, and you're becoming multimillionaires over and over again because of the kickbacks that you're getting by stealing American tax dollars while they have to work their asses off to make ends meet, when they should get a piece of the pie too then. Okay, this is crazy. So let's not come down on Marjorie Taylor Greene, conservatives. Let's say, hey, she's the only one defending America first right now.
Right. So Tig, a little bit. How about your emerald?
Oh my God, I'm winded. Had to be said. And we still got a couple more topics here to cover, and
yeah, we're running down on the hour, so
the emerald keeps running out because I keep doing my thing, and
yeah, you keep John.
It is pretty good. It's got a really good wrapper to it. Doesn't come apart.
Yeah,
great easy draw. Numerous amount of flavors.
We got a comment there. Jocko Senju, I hope I didn't butcher that, but he's on a Perdomo champagne. He heard the emeralds are kind of meh.
I'm kind of feeling you on that one right now, Chaco. Kind of feeling you on it. It's an okay cigar. It's an okay cigar. Right now, I'm not saying. I'll tell you what. A Cigar Aficionado said it's 93. I don't call it 93 at all. And I haven't taken a whole lot in from this cigar, but I can usually, within the first couple minutes, first few draws, I can say whether it's fantastic, whether it sucks, or whether it's mediocre. This is a mediocre cigar. I'll tell you what, I paid, $11 for this cigar, something like that. I could have got two $5 lower end Arturo Fuente cheapies for the price of this one cigar and have the same type of cigar quality.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was gonna smoke this Perdomo Lot 23 if I didn't want to do the tampon cigar. So but I figured let's do the tampon cigar because number one, I'll lighten the subjects up a little bit. And number two, I thought it was pretty cool. And number three, that the price was right.
Hey Jocko, I love Perdomo. I do.
Yeah.
I did smoke one on the show at one point. I should probably get back to smoking a few more on the show. I do like Perdomo. They're a solid cigar. Always have been since I've tried them. I've tried a couple of them and they're pretty damn solid. There's so many to choose from. I should probably smoke a couple more on the show.
Yeah, he also threw down another question. Have you guys tried Umbagog Copperheads? I haven't come across them.
Bull can't even say it, so he hasn't tried it. No, I haven't tried it either. It's something I should take down and look for it. I have not come across that cigar actually at the local shops.
Right.
Probably would have to actually look online for it. So
right.
Maybe we should try that.
Sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We love hearing about new cigars, especially if we haven't heard of them, So yeah, that's something to look into. Hey, Bull, I want to quickly go up on some news here. Up on some news, and it's just going to be a quick news thing. Department of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard revoked some security clearances of like Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. That's just the beginning. And that's a good thing. They don't deserve clearances. Former CIA Director John Brennan got his pulled. Former DNI James Clapper got his pulled. Susan Rice got hers pulled. Jake Sullivan, who was Biden's national security advisor, got his pulled. Eric Swalwell got his pulled. He sat on the House Intelligence Committee while knowingly sleeping with Fang Fang, the Chinese spy. And Swallows is a guy that still has yet to answer to my challenge to get him in a cage and fight him in no holds barred fight. Come on, Swallows. Step it up, Mr. 135 bench presser.
Yeah, wasn't that kind of funny? I brought that up to you about
yeah.
about Greg Gutfield.
Greg, you can challenge him to the bench press. I'd just as soon get him in a cage and beat the holy hell out of him. How about that?
That would be better yet.
Yeah. What do they need it for, Jacko? I agree. They never should have kept it. Victoria Nuland, she was the architect of several regime change disasters and foreign policy disasters. She lost her security clearance. Fiong Hill testified during impeachment while maintaining deep ties to anti-Trump institutions. She lost her security clearance as well. And you know what? Kudos to Tulsi Gabbard. She's doing a good job getting rid of these ass wipes that don't deserve to have security clearances in the first place. They're all a bunch of dirtbags from the cabal, and they need to go, and they need to be indicted and everything else. But it'll never happen. It'll never happen. Not with this Justice Department. I like I said, no. I've never been for Pam Bondi as an AG. Never. Right. Don't like her. Never will. Nothing she can do about that.
Next episode, I'll get the zero arrest list out, and we'll hammer on that.
Yeah.
I started compiling it, but I know there's a bunch out there that I missed, so I didn't want to just do a partial tonight.
Another thing about lies, folks, climate change. It's a lie. They're creating it through weather modification. That's not a conspiracy theory, folks. That's reality. They're using weather modification weapons.
Just like our fucking weather today, we don't just get just a little rain shower. We get fucking hammered. We get, 5 inches of rain and
tornado warning. This time of year, we never get tornado warnings or sightings of tornadoes. Not this time of year. We don't even get rain this time of year. It's always the hottest time of the month. We get heat, but we've gotten the same heat all year, all summer. In fact, we live up in the Midwest here. This summer, we have gotten a consistent amount of heat that measures to the same amount of heat they get down in Florida. Tropical heat and tropical rains and stuff. We're getting weather we shouldn't even be getting.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. And with that too, Bull, you sent me something that we're going to talk about. Problem equals solution equals loss of freedom.
Yep.
The lady about why is Nova Scotia and Canada issuing laws against hiking to prevent wildfires? That's their excuse.
I think they got an ulterior motive there.
To prevent wildfires, they are making a law against hiking. Folks, wildfires are created through, direct energy weapons. They're purposely starting those fires. And that's not a conspiracy theory. You go down the rabbit hole and look it up, folks. And see, they don't want people finding out that they are the very ones starting those forest fires. Also, they don't want people living off the grid, living in the country and living in the forests. You know why? Because they want to control those people. They want to, the globalists there in Canada want to control those people. They want them living all jam-packed like sardines in a can in urban communities so they can set up their New World Order 15-minute cities to control those people, which will basically be like concentration camps. You can't go anywhere in those 15-minute cities. You're locked in a district, in a ward, and you can't go anywhere further than your 15 minutes past your house in those future 15-minute cities. That's what that's all about, folks.
I came across this video of it wasn't quite a video. It was just basically a news blurb, and it showed a picture of a 5G tower burning in Ireland. They're starting to burn the fuckers down.
England too.
In England, UK, yeah.
I don't know how they're getting it done, but man, I think Americans should do the same thing. Those 5G towers are dangerous, folks. I don't care what anybody says. You can say it is a conspiracy theory too, but if you look at the dangerous radiation of microwave ovens, and then you take those 5G towers when they're turned on, how much radiation is going up into the air with those 5G towers. They're causing neurological problems in people. They're causing all kinds of health conditions. Now, when we talk about stuff like direct energy weapons, weather modification, 5G, depopulation, the viruses that they create as a weapon, bioweapon, and the vaccines and stuff like that, and GMOs in the foods and stuff like that, poisoning our foods. Okay, all that stuff is not conspiracy theory. It's a fact. Okay, so then when you got a couple people that are naysayers that say, oh, well, then the celebrities and the wealthy people and stuff like that to control the world, then they'd be subjected to that depopulation, the vaccines, the air we breathe through chemtrails and the foods and all that. No, they wouldn't. I'll tell you why they're not subjected to it. Because it is a fact that they have underground cities, very deep underground. That's a fact, folks. Go down the rabbit hole and look up
5 miles down.
About 5 miles down. They all have penthouses down there. Plenty of food, plenty of resources. They have the best food money can buy because they're wealthy and they're elitists, you know. They don't have to breathe poisonous air. They don't have to drink crap. They don't have to eat crap. They don't take the vaccines. They don't get the big pharma poisonous drugs. They don't, they're not exposed to any of that. They're
Right.
going down in their little hole in the ground. And anytime they make an appearance, they have a clone wearing a great Hollywood actor's mask and an actor on their behalf, or they're in front of a television screen. Okay. They're down in their hole. They're waiting to kill off the population so later on they can rise to the surface.
Right.
That's what that's all about. We didn't even get into the possibility of reptilian nation and all that crap.
Yeah, we kind of held off on that a little bit, but
Yeah.
So that's a different rabbit hole. Let's wait on that one.
Well, there's all kinds of rabbit holes. Just, take your pick. We've been lied to, folks, about everything. We've been lied to about certain religious aspects. We've been lied to about politics. Both parties are the same.
What about
folks.
the latest lie? The so-called spaceship that's approaching Earth. It's supposed to be here around November.
Blue Beam Project.
Yeah.
Some say they're gonna use it as an alien invasion, or they're gonna use it to usher in Antichrist. Some say that on a religious basis, there's going to be a rapture and everybody's going to disappear, and then they're going to blame it on the aliens abducting everybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more dark bullshit that's going on in the world today, because this is not what we grew up in, folks.
Lies.
We have been taught lies about the Civil War, our history, because the victors go the spoils and the victors write the history, folks.
And speaking of
lied to about lies, wars,
like from the Tartarians, that's another huge lie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't teach us about all that stuff. They haven't taught us about the fact that maybe the technology we see today, we've always had. They've always had it. The architectural designs. I mean, think about it. Are you telling me that Egyptian slaves with the primitive tools they would have had built those huge pyramids?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Be so precise with their locations, especially like their location is the exact speed of light. That's what their coordinates are.
We're being lied to right now about economic recovery. I don't see the economic recovery. Lies about giving money back to Americans.
You think this is a nice ash?
Make America, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful ash. Make America wealthy again? Well, who in America is going to be wealthy again? President Trump, because it certainly isn't the people.
The middle class is taking.
They're continuing to destroy the middle class. It used to be an argument that the Democrats said, "Oh, the Republicans are going to destroy the middle class," and then the Republicans turned around and said, "Oh, it's the Democrats destroying the middle class." They're both destroying the middle class. You know why? Because both Republicans and Democrats are salespeople. They're used salespeople. They want to. They're there to divide people, and they're there to sell to certain sides of what their value systems are, and they use it not only to divide, but then they come together, they act like they're opposition when they're not, like professional wrestlers,
right?
And then they're laughing at us behind the scenes. They're friends behind the scenes, and they're taking money from the same bank, same corporations, and they turn around. They're turning around basically. Not only are they laughing at us, but these politicians, whenever you hear them say, "We just want a bipartisan bill," we want, bipartisan means between the Republicans and the Democrats in DC, folks. More bills to issue to screw the American public, more laws to take away your freedoms slowly. All right. Don't trust them. I get it. We're conservatives. Bull and I are patriotic, constitutional conservatives. But we're seeing what the Republican Party's been doing. You notice when the Democrats had the majority, right? Republicans sided with them. They never stood up to them at all. They sided with them. And now, since the Republicans have had the majority, they're still kind of playing and siding with the Democrats. They're never standing up to them, and they're not pushing through what they really should be pushing through on behalf of the people that voted for them.
Yeah.
What do we vote? what we voted for, we're getting nothing really. We're not getting any justice. What about, we were told that they had the Epstein list, they're going to do something about it. They still haven't done anything about it. They're never going to do anything about it. We found out that the Russian hoax was a lie.
Where's all the arrests?
Yeah, where's all the arrests at? Where's the indictments at?
Where's the Epstein list?
All the lies and propaganda we get from the media. Let me tell you something, folks. CNN and MSNBC are bad enough, but even conservative news networks are starting to lie too.
Yeah,
I'm catching them in a whole lot of lies too.
Hell yeah,
and propaganda. So it's all like UK Ultra right there, man. The programming us. It's a brainwashing crap.
Exactly what it is, Tig.
Yeah. So Operation Mockingbird.
So, Tig, any parting words for this evening?
I always have the same parting word.
Yeah, I know.
If you're not suspicious and you're not a little paranoid, then you're not prepared. Oh, and since the program, I've gotten a little more speaking out a little more religiously. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not trying to make this a religious program, but I would be a coward if I did not say that if you don't find or have Christ in your life in some way or another, you're not prepared.
Well, it's a personal relationship.
Yeah. So it's all personal. I'm not telling.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing religion on people. Okay. But in my opinion, I feel that if you don't have Christ in your life, you're not prepared either. So,
right.
And like I said, all religions, Israel, Jewish, Christian, Muslims, they all have their radicals. They all have their radicals that give religion a bad name, and you're always going to have that, folks. So, seek and find what works best for you. Christ works best for me. I think Christianity is the way to go, but I don't know. You all have your own opinions, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Great parting words, Tig. I'm not going to top that one. Thanks for following Stars, Bars, and Cigars. Jocko, we appreciate all your comments this evening.
Mediocre, not that great. It's a beautiful looking cigar.
It is.
It's wrapped well, and that's part of the marketing ploy. They made it look better than it was.
Yeah.
Rocky Patel.
Yep. And he had mentioned God, family, education, friends, and cigars. Laugh out loud.
Yes.
That was his parting words.
Yes, I like that, Jocko. I like that. That's a good one.
Yep. All right. You can follow us on Rumble, of course, YouTube, Twitch. That's where Jocko is from tonight, watching us there. We could also be heard on audio, basically on all your audio streams. I like to throw out iHeartMedia for putting us out there and getting us amped up quite a bit. Visit our website at www.starsbarsandcigars.live. There you can find, the different places where you can listen to us or watch us.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Folks, think outside the box. Don't listen to the narratives. Don't be a Republican. Don't be a Democrat. Have your conservative values. But above all else, be an American.
Yep. All right. With that, we are out of here. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you next Sunday at 7:30.
You've been listening to Stars, Bars, and Cigars. Two conservative vets telling it like it is. The rally cry for those who appreciate bold truths served with a side of mayhem.
Roger, outside, decide before, that's all. We'll keep them sweating until we see Butcher 3. Out.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you didn't, well, why are you still here, snowflake? We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, follow us on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and hear our precious voices on all the streaming services. Until next time, keep the spirit of freedom roaring.
Yeah, decided to take a dump. See ya.
Yeah.